planes and warships, castles and sports cars, popular anime characters, all of them in the form of plastic models. Japan is a world-class producer of plastic models. Elaborate kits made with cutting-edge technology are popular both domestically and abroad. The roots of this success can be traced back 400 years to a 17th century shogun. In this episode, we look at the development of plastic models in Japan and explore the latest technology.
Hello and welcome to Japanology Plus. I'm Peter Barakan. I'm in Shizuoka, which, if you look down here, you can see is a model city. That's actually a double meaning. Shizuoka is the place where about 90% of Japan's plastic model kits are manufactured. There are monuments like this in several parts of the city celebrating that fact. This one has all of the parts you need to put together the armor that was worn by Tokugawa Ieyasu, probably Japan's most illustrious shogun. Ieyasu spent about a third of his life here in Shizuoka, and some of his actions contributed to Shizuoka later on becoming a model city, as we shall find out as we delve into the world of plastic models.
Every May, Shizuoka hosts a special event that centers around plastic models. The Shizuoka Hobby Show. It's one of the largest displays of plastic models in the world. Around 70,000 people participate. The show features everything from brand new models of popular characters to classic model trains. The many attendees include buyers from North America, the Middle East, elsewhere in Asia and Europe.
I think Japanese models are particularly artistic. They're very detailed and they look almost real.
The Japanese models are the best in the world, so everybody likes the Japanese models.
In addition to commercial products, over 10,000 exhibits are made by enthusiasts from around the world.
Creators' unique displays help me come up with my own ideas. That's really exciting.
For producers and fans alike, the event is an unmissable experience that only Shizuoka can offer.
Kobayashi-san, nice to meet you.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Our guest is journalist Kobayashi Noboru. He has spent many years editing books about plastic models and is one of Japan's top experts on them. First, he takes us to Shizuoka Hobby Square.
Here we see the history of local model makers. There are classic products, and some of the latest ones too.
Yeah, I can see there's a lot of stuff here. Shizuoka has proclaimed itself to be the world capital of model kits, which is quite a claim to make. How did it get there?
Nowhere else has as many makers or producers as many models. In that sense, Shizuoka really is the world capital, as it proclaims.
And it all has something to do with Ieyasu.
Yes, he's often said to have been the catalyst.
Tokugawa Ieyasu established Japan's longest-running shogunate, which continued for over 260 years. He spent much of his childhood in Shizuoka. It was a meaningful place for him, and he moved back in his later years. Ieyasu brought Japan's best artisans to Shizuoka. They built and repaired many shrines and temples. At Kunozan Toshogu Shrine, they created carvings and metal fixtures that generate a solemn atmosphere. Plastic model manufacturers have made offerings of these models to the shrine in honor of Ieyasu. Many of the artisans he brought to Shizuoka went on to make products like furniture and tableware, establishing a manufacturing tradition. In the 1930s, wooden model planes began to be made here. At the time, aircraft were regarded as the epitome of cutting-edge technology, and models were a useful way to teach children about them. Then, in the 1950s, plastic emerged. Compared to wood, plastic could be formed into more complicated shapes and assembled more easily. Local manufacturers took all of the know-how they had acquired and began applying it to plastic instead. Shizuoka evolved into a hub for plastic model production, and today it's home to over 10 model-making companies.
This case has model kits from the 60s and 70s, and most of them seem to be either warships or warplanes. They're sort of military-related things.
Yes. At first, most plastic models were warships, fighter planes, and so on. That was the norm.
I remember when I was a kid, it was pretty much the same in England as well.
Yes, it was an international phenomenon. But the interesting thing about many Japanese models was that they were made to move. That was a fun feature. Makers created models that moved using the power of rubber bands or springs.
Are there any other characteristics that make Japanese model kits different from the ones that one finds in the West?
One Japanese characteristic is making plastic models of just about anything. Tokyo Tower, Tokyo Skytree, castles. Then you have models of anime characters and video game characters. Japan is globally renowned for things like that.
Right, you see anime-related anything, anywhere, all of the time.
You do.
Pretty much, don't you? Yeah, I mean, even in here, there's a real variety of all kinds of different model kits.
Have you ever assembled a plastic model?
Way, way back when I was a kid, I did a little bit, like fighter planes and things, but I didn't have the patience to read the instructions properly.
Miniature four-wheel drive cars are popular with all ages. They're relatively easy to put together and operate. Want to give one a try?
Okay.
Let's put Peter to the test. Here's the car he selected.
The first step is to detach the body of the car, the part marked number 1.
Okay. Okay. All right, that one's done. All right. So it goes in there. Okay. All right. So, number 3, grease.
Peter starts out well, but then...
You're supposed to have already detached part A13.
Oops. Okay. Here? Yeah. This one. Okay. This is going to take time, isn't it? Oh.
After 30 minutes, Peter completes the section responsible for movement.
Okay.
Let's see if it works. Oh, it does! Good job!
Yeah.
Wow.
You're as surprised as I am.
Peter works for another 30 minutes.
Perfect! All finished.
Do I get a beer now?
The car looks great, but let's see what it can do.
Okay, let's give it a whirl. Whoa! Whoop. Okay, good boy, good boy. That was pretty fast. What do you think?
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much for helping me out. I don't think I could have done it by myself.
You're welcome.
Japanese plastic manufacturing really took off in 1957. Until that point, toys were mostly made from materials like wood, paper, and tin. Japan's first commercial plastic model kit, a Nautilus submarine, was produced in 1958. The maker went to wholesalers and department stores, but they were reluctant to stock the product. Then everything changed with the opening of a new commercial TV station. The maker sponsored a weekly show featuring plastic models. The strategy was a success. After each episode, shops were flooded with children searching for plastic models. Thanks to television, plastic models quickly became established as a new kind of toy, and children all over Japan just loved them. Moving on to the 1980s, an anime character took the plastic model market by storm. Giant robots from the anime Mobile Suit Gundam were made into plastic models known as Gunpla. The models faithfully recreated the world of the anime, and they were easy to assemble. The robots drew fans of all ages, all over the world. Here's another popular toy. Peter built one of these miniature four-wheel drive cars. They're easy enough even for young children to assemble, and they move fast. Competition is increasing in the plastic model market, with rivals such as China and the Czech Republic emerging. Japanese makers are developing new figurine kits to differentiate themselves. We visited a major manufacturer in Shizuoka to learn about the secrets of Japan's successful models.
Hello, nice to meet you. I see you like a bit of cosplay.
At this factory, we wear uniforms of characters from the original anime Mobile Suit Gundam.
And I see you've got glass cases full of... Are these all models in here?
Yes, from the entire franchise. This display shows our earliest products from 1980, then goes right up to the latest examples.
Oh, wow, all the way down there. And how many in all?
Around 4,500 types.
What?
We've sold over 700 million.
Why do you think it is that these models are so popular?
Well, the original anime was a huge hit. By producing plastic models of robots from the show, we gave fans the chance to immerse themselves in that world. And unlike model cars, these represent fictional objects. So a lot of people enjoy exercising their artistic freedom to customize their creations.
Wow, science fiction door.
Like you'd find on a spaceship. Here's one of our designers.
Oh, hello, nice to see you. I apologize for intruding on your work.
A wide range of movement is a key feature of many Japanese plastic models. It's made possible by ingenious design work.
Today, Plastic models are designed on a computer using 3D modeling software. As you can see, there's a digital representation of what the actual product will look like. And we split it up and design each component like this.
The head alone has 15 parts.
That's really quite impressive, yeah.
Computer simulations are run many times to figure out the easiest order of assembly for the user. The parts are finalized, then plastic is poured into a metal mold.
For 44 years, this mold has been used to make one of our oldest kits.
This is still in production now.
That's right.
Wow.
Here, a colleague is using a file to smooth the parts that are perpendicular to the surface of the mold. Machine processing always lacks a certain amount of precision. So these final adjustments are done by hand.
The metal mold is the most important thing when you're making plastic models. You need to be able to produce detailed facial features, the eyes, nose, mouth, and so on. So they make adjustments down to a single micron.
Okay, well, that's some pretty impressive craftsmanship. Oh.
Japanese plastic model production makes use of the latest technology.
I'll show you a frame that's just been made. It looks like this. It features 4 colors: grey, green, red, and translucent, all on the same frame.
That's really hard to do. Most plastic model makers can only produce frames in a single color. But here, they can do up to 4 different colors. It's astonishing.
Really?
A special mold is used. The temperature and drying times of the plastic resin are carefully adjusted. But the exact details are a trade secret.
The last time I tried to put together a model kit was probably before the Beatles. So we're talking about something like over 60 years ago now. These things have really evolved a lot in the meantime, haven't they?
Yes, plastic models really have evolved. Now they can be assembled without glue. And they don't even have to be painted. Another important factor is movement. Take a look at this. This is a very early Gundam model. It moves, but only a limited amount. The newer models, meanwhile, have ball joints. This allows for smooth movement. The model can sit, crouch, and adopt other poses. Things like that have become possible. As for human characters, it's now possible to combine components in different colors to depict skin texture, facial coloring, and so on. There's been a lot of evolution in these respects too.
Figures of human characters like this created a brand new sector in the market, helping Japan to remain a world leader in plastic models. Makers in Japan are also pioneering eco-friendly initiatives. A resin made with used green tea leaves is helping to reduce plastic usage. Another new material for models is made mostly of limestone. And discarded plastic is being reused. Today's models are greener than ever before.
Hello everyone and welcome to Plus One. I'm Kyle Card. In the world of plastic models, there are individuals who can only be referred to as artisans. They take the art of plastic models to a new level of realism, making them as true to life as possible. Let's go meet one of those individuals now. Oh. Looks like the place.
Hello.
Konnichiwa.
Nice to meet you.
Hajimemashite. I heard that you make some 3D dioramas and plastic models here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you be able to show me?
Yes. Of course.
All right.
Here's a diorama I created.
This depicts a real location in Japan. Does it look familiar?
Is this Shibuya Scramble?
Yes.
Yeah. They're so little. Wow.
This diorama features N-scale model trains, so it's a relatively small scale of 1 to 150.
So how long does it take you to build something like this?
This took me around 1 year.
That's a long time.
Majidi is studying architecture at university. He's a fan of commercial plastic models, but wanted to make something even more realistic. So he immersed himself in the world of dioramas, in which he could include plastic models. Here's the south exit of Tokyo's Shinjuku station. It's a multi-level diorama. He even reproduced the underground platforms. When model trains run along the tracks, they look strikingly realistic.
So are you able to use like the techniques of these hyper-realistic dioramas to like really increase the reality of like a plastic model?
I use all kinds of plastic models. You can try making something yourself.
Oh, really? Oh.
Kyle's going to make a house using this kit.
First, detach all of these parts with cutters. Then we'll glue everything together.
All right.
Very good.
Boom.
Let's start putting it together.
Okay.
Kyle adds glue.
Pressure.
If they're not aligned properly, the house will end up wobbly, so be precise.
Hold for 10 seconds.
He's done it. The model house is complete.
Well, I never built a real house, so I can build a tiny house. This is great. Okay, tiny house.
Very cute. Now, let's build a diorama. You're free to do whatever you like.
First, Kyle adds textured paint to represent soil.
You lose track of time, don't you? But there's something really fun about that.
Next, Kyle sprinkles green powder on top to represent grass. He adds a gravel path and a tree, which is actually a real dried plant.
Like a little car here, maybe a dog, a little swing set.
I have cars. Pick your favorite.
Well, a patrol car is probably not the best.
Nice choice. Pretty cool.
Check that out.
Looks like you finished.
On its own, it's just a regular plastic model. But in a diorama, it starts to look more lifelike.
Now, I used to think plastic models were fun and exciting by themselves. By adding this extra element of hyper-realistic diorama making, it just really gives it that punch of realism and personality, and also makes the possibilities truly limitless.
When I was young, you'd see plastic models being sold all over the place. Nowadays, very few shops stock them. But here in Shizuoka, which calls itself the global capital for models, there is indeed a plastic model shop. And here it is.
Kanaria Model Shop. Plastic models and supplies, crepes and coffee. Hello.
Hello there.
What a tiny little shop.
The shop measures just 7 square meters, and it's packed with model kits.
Any particular reason why you started doing this?
Shizuoka is famous for plastic models, and I thought it would be a shame to walk through town without seeing any. I wanted people walking past to think, ah yeah, Shizuoka, a plastic model shop. So I set one up.
Are you a model fan yourself?
I like warships. I like planes too. We have lots of them. But I think I prefer them in their boxes with the artwork.
Huh.
I'm bad at actually making them.
You were saying a moment ago that you don't see these kind of shops around much anymore. I think probably one of the big reasons for that is everybody is obsessed with their phones. It's when you're on the train, it's almost like everybody is playing a game on their phone. That seems to be all people do. It's all digital these days.
But that's also the reason why plastic models are still so appealing. You have to closely follow the manual. Then with your own hands, you cut, file, and assemble the components. You make something. There's meaning in that. You have to concentrate. You lose yourself in it. Didn't you have fun doing that today?
Concentrating on something is nice. There's a kind of feeling of satisfaction when you actually get it done. And working with tactile things is also kind of satisfying. So yeah, from that point of view, I enjoyed it. When we were at the factory early on and looking at the molds, and the guy was saying how that when they get worn down, they have to fix them. It reminded me a little bit of when they make records. The stampers that they use also get worn down in the same way. I've always been a fan of records, so it just kind of reminded me of that a bit as well.
Japan was once known as a world leader in manufacturing and delivered superior products all over the world. The people who were responsible for Japan's manufacturing prowess probably made plastic models when they were children. It's a real experience. You physically make something. I think this is important not just for the future of Japan, but also of the world. So I really hope that plastic models keep going.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And thank you very much.
Thank you too.